Greetings from Mobility Outlook and welcome to Mobility Conversations. We are at Daimler India Commercial Vehicles plant and the guest for today is Mr. Satyakam Arya, MD and CEO, DICV. Welcome, Mr. Arya.
Thank you so much, Murli. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for your time. So, congratulations on celebrating 10th anniversary of the formation of DICV, and I think you're going to celebrate the brand unveil anniversary also soon. So, would like to know a bit about the journey. What are the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations that DICV faced?
Well, frankly, this 10-year is a very important milestone for us, for any company for that matter. And if I just fondly recall the last 10 years, and if I have to put some words to this journey, I would say this was exhilarating. Right? There were a lot of exciting moments, and there were also a lot of challenges along the way. I still recall, since I was a part of the first few people when this company started, I still recall at that time when we unveiled our brand and then we came into the market. Well, if I talk about the some high points of this journey, the first was the brand Bharat-Benz itself.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's nothing else which can talk more about the commitment we have for this market. This was the first time Benz was attached to something other than Mercedes or Daimler. Right. It was a big decision for our company, and I'm so happy that it was taken, because we believe that a market like India deserves nothing less and nothing short of that. Along with that brand came the commitment to design and develop products which this market needs. And I think you would recall, because you must have been a part of that, when we inaugurated our test track before we built our plant.
Yeah.
Right. So that was another high point. How you do things different from what others do, and very close to what the market needs.
Absolutely.
Or the situation demands. So we did that, and I think those products have done extremely well in the market. They have proven that they are the best in total cost of ownership and the best in performance and even reliability. Right. So we've done that piece quite well. And along with that, we made sure that every product which is manufactured in this plant is more than 90% localized right when we started production. And there are no parallels to this in the Indian automotive industry, at least. Right. And of course, over these years, we continue to expand our network. Today, we are 275 touch points, a promise which we made to our customers. So we are delivering on that consistently. We've more than 400 suppliers we have associated with. We started our exports as early as 1 year after our start of production in 2013. And it's another matter of pride for any Indian company that we are now exporting to more than 50 markets worldwide actively. Right.
Congratulations.
The same products. The same products which we produce and sell in India are branded differently and sold. Another thing which we have not talked too much about, but is another high point for DICV is, this is the only plant in the entire Daimler world where we produce all brands under one roof. Right. So we Bharat-Benz for India, Bhutan and Nepal, but we also do Fuso or Mitsubishi Fuso. We do Freightliner, which is sent to Mexico, and we also have Mercedes-Benz, which goes to Indonesia. Right. So all these brands, same products, same level of quality, not depending on which market we are talking about, is what we do. So you can pick up a lot of points, high points, which happened during this time. There's another one which is very, very significant, and nobody else has delivered that in the CV industry in India, the reliability piece. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I met our customer who had completed 1 million kilometers.
That has actually enabled you to give 10-year or 10-year, I think.
10-year AMC. We do the 10-year annual maintenance contract. And now there are many customers who have completed this milestone. And they are absolutely happy and satisfied with the product. And the product will keep going from here. So a lot of high points. There were a lot of challenges also along the way, as I said. One of the main one being the Indian CV industry still has to come to the volume level which it deserves or this country demands, right? So the growth story has been a bit challenging in these 10 years.
That's due to COVID or?
Well, COVID came now, but even without COVID, we've actually gone through two more cycles in these 10 years. So in the short period of 10 years, we had three economic down cycles, right? So while we fundamentally believe that India is a market which will grow, but we have not seen that happening in these 10 years, right? And I believe that we will definitely see this in the next 10, right? So that is one piece where I think we as a country have to get our act together, and then we will definitely see the potential of this market as well.
Then I think during the first phase, like for example, you started quickly ramping up the production based on the sales. I think in about 13 months you covered 5,000, and then the following 9 months, 9 months I think you crossed the 10,000 mark, and in 6 months you doubled it. But later I think it looks like it started not peaking down. Is the euphoria, initial euphoria has coming down, or what exactly is that?
No, I don't think it's related in any way to the euphoria, and I'll explain you why. First one is, we invest in a market for the long term, so we don't believe in this short term euphoria things. And having invested 9,500 crores, I think we are here for long term. Right? The second point is the cycles which I just talked about. When we came, the market had already started to get stressed. And then in the last 5 years, we have seen very severe stress in the market due to various reasons. The first one was this axle load norms, which actually took away 25 to 30% of the market immediately in the short term. And it also has a long-term bearing on the market, right? And then we had the GDP growth slowing down 4 or 5 years ago, and now we had COVID, right? So I think this is the main reason why you could say that the growth was not as steep as it could be. But if you look deeper into our numbers, well, we have put now 125,000 trucks and buses on the Indian roads in this short time. We have exported more than 50,000 trucks and buses across those 50 markets, right? So fundamentally, if you see year on year, we have been growing, of course, keeping these economic cycles apart. In fact, if you look at 2021, which was not a great year overall because COVID was still continuing, we had 48% growth in our domestic sales and 125% growth in exports. Last year, we did all-time high exports out of this plant, right? So we have been growing, but as I said, we should view this over a long term and not with these economies.
Where are the pain points during the last 10 years still to be addressed?
Frankly, don't want to call this pain points. I would rather call them challenges. So where do we see the challenges? And with every challenge comes an opportunity as well. So I always look at it like this, right? So the challenges which we see today are, first one is the supply chain, right? First it was COVID, and now due to the geopolitical situation, the supply chains are still stressed out, right? Whether it's having the adequate number of parts which you need, or it is also about shipping out of India in terms of exports, the capacity of containers, the capacity in the ships that they can take our vehicles as per the plan. Both. So these two pieces still continue to be stressed. And I think it will take some time before this situation normalizes. I think we are looking at another year before we could see some normalcy coming on that side, right? Different countries have COVID waves at different points in time, and they react differently to this. And that disturbs the whole supply chain of containers, for example, right? So that's one big piece. The second piece, which every company right now is dealing with, is the inflation, right? Whether it's in steel prices or whether it's crude oil, it's coming in. The wholesale inflation is around 15 to 16%, right? In the last few days, we have seen some easing coming, and thanks to the measures which the government announced, especially on the steel side. But that still continues to be a dimension which we have to deal with, right? The third thing which I think we have to reflect back on is, if you look at the CV industry in India, And since we came, I think the industry itself picked up the pace of transformation. So we've been a catalyst in transforming the CV industry. We launched products which were much safer, much more comfortable to the driver, and much more better in total cost of ownership. So this pace of transformation, we believe, still has a room to pick up. Right? For example, when you look at safety, I think we still lag behind many other markets. India is the only market where we have a BS6 emission, which is quite at par with global standard, but we still have a cow truck. Right? We are the only country which is delivering a cow truck with a BS6 emission now, and I think this doesn't go well together. I am just thinking we should synchronize this better, and we should also pick up pace on the safety aspect. Right? We have always believed safety is about not only doing things right, but doing the right things. Right? And we as a company have never gone into delivering cow trucks. We never designed and we never developed them because we don't believe it's the right thing to do. Right? And I think this is where we must all reflect back. How can we pick up the pace of transformation in future?
When you came to India, you banked on the technology, the safety, and other aspects. So you had a very distinctive advantage over competition. So going forward, what are the elements that will help you drive DICV faster?
Well, the next decade is about technology, and every company has to transform itself based on what the technology is needed in the market. And if you look at this aspect, there are three main things here. I think safety still has to be a priority. India still has the largest number of accidents and fatalities, and you can do a lot with technology on the safety side, which we will do, whether it's pedestrian safety, whether it's the safety of the driver, or the product itself. So we will do a lot in that space. We'll continue to lead the market in terms of safety. The second is about the fuel choice, right? Whether it's gas or electric or hydrogen. And you will see announcements coming from us in the next months and years. And we will definitely keep the total cost of ownership in mind and the customer success in mind when we'll do that. The third important aspect is digitalization. The way we have done business and the way we interact with customers. This whole thing will be completely digitalized with Industry 4.0, and that will be our focus.
So, sometime back when we met, you mentioned about the transformational, cyclical, and what the structural storms attacking the industry. How do you see this now? It's still prevalent, or?
Well, we are still in the middle of the storm, and I had talked about three storms that time: cyclic, structural, and transformational. And the good point is that the cyclic storm has turned on the other side. Earlier, the demand was a challenge. Now we have a strong demand, but the supply side is a challenge. Therefore, it's still stormy. The structural storms also continue because with all the investment in infrastructure, the product segmentation is changing, right? And we talked about transformation in terms of fuel types, so we are still in the middle of the storm.
Okay. Has DICV's approach towards acquiring customer changed? Because earlier I think you had a model, you understand their business model and then provide a solution. Now, is there a change?
The fundamental has not changed, and I think the fundamental will never change. What is changing every day is the scope of what we talk to customer about. See, in the past it used to be only the product, and we then talk to customer about how they want to use the product, what are their needs, and we give the right offering to them, the lowest total cost of ownership. Now we are talking beyond products. We are talking about applications. So what is their use application which they want to use the product for, and that is where we go deeper with the customer. And we are since last year we've started to come with very application focused products. Right? The third step to that will be the ecosystem, the entire ecosystem of business which the customer has, and where can we make our customers more successful. So fundamentals have not changed, but the scope keeps on expanding.
Daimler, I think, has made DICV to make all 4 brands at one place. Are there drivers still at DICV that will make the headquarters depend more on this?
Well, see, if you look at last 10 years, I think Daimler has used the strengths of India. we've used the strength that we are a competitive location for manufacturing, and we have the knowledge of manufacturing. We have talented engineering people here, and that is also something which we have used and we will continue to use. So looking at these aspects, I think we have scaled up our export business. We've also in 2020 started a global capability center where we use the engineering talent of India for other locations. And I think these are the areas where we will continue to expand and grow in future.
On the digitalization initiative, when we met a few months ago, you said there are about a dozen initiatives going on, which you couldn't explain. What is the status now?
Well, we have accelerated on that. Now there are no more dozen, but at least 4 to 5 dozen initiatives which are running across the company. And we are looking at it in 3 pieces mainly. The first piece is how you interact with customers. So right from our own sales people or customer service people, including our dealership as a partner in between, how do we interface with customer and how do we digitalize their entire life cycle of journey with us. Right? That's one big piece. The second big piece is the operations. So we are doing a lot of stuff in our operations, which is mainly the industry 4.0 techniques to digitalize them, to give more transparency and more real-time tracking of what we are doing. And this is bringing a lot of efficiencies in our operations. The third piece is the supply chain, which I think has also gained more importance due to COVID and other issues. And here we are working on creating more resilience and agility in our supply chain. So this is where we are focusing, and as I said, about 4 dozen projects are running in our company.
That means it's going to be a bouquet of opportunities or facilities or features for the customers.
Absolutely,
Yeah?
absolutely.
Okay.
Something directly for the customers and something what we do in our operations in order eventually to make our customers more successful. I'll give you one example on that, which is really something worth looking at. You know, when you do a product development and then you have to also do trials of how will you repair that vehicle on the road, right, if it breaks down or in the dealership. And in the past we used to make prototypes where such trials were done, and then you have to go through various loops of improvement. Now we do it completely digital. So you can wear a virtual reality goggle and you can do that right here, and you can do that in real time with colleagues in Japan or Germany, for example. They are looking at the same truck and standing right beside you in this digital world or virtual world.
So the complications in those areas can be reduced.
You see, you can dramatically bring down the product development cycle because you don't need to make a physical prototype, it's digital prototype. You can communicate in real time on improvements, and then you can do the next iteration pretty quickly, in fact on real time basis.
So does that mean you will have a sort of a lab here set up in the
We
plant?
already have it.
You already have it?
We already have it, which is connected to other plants of Daimler.
Okay.
And they already do this on regular basis. And this will bring down our product development time to the market.
From the product's point of view, where do you see the sweet spot still for DICV to field new products?
Well, if you look at our current product portfolio, we operate in medium to heavy duty. So from 10 ton to 55 ton. But if you look deeper in this space, we still have some white spots. Yeah. Right? And this is the area we are working on continuously, addressing those white spots one by one, where we believe that we can offer a product which can differentiate itself.
And below 10 ton and EVs?
Well, below 10 ton, and again, you can slice this into 2 major parts, 3.5 ton and below, and between 3.5 and 10. Especially the segment of below 3.5 ton is a voluminous segment, and that is the segment which is also the first candidate for EV transformation. Well, it's an interesting segment, but we believe in entering a segment only when we see that we can offer a product which will really differentiate itself and create a new benchmark in the market.
On the exports front, which are the markets that you plan to enter in the next few years?
Well, it's a very continuous exercise. Now we are pretty much well covered across the globe with the products we have. And as we work on our portfolio, as we work on transition to e-mobility, then we will look at which new markets.
And parts export?
Well, that is continuing.
Yeah.
We in fact have now exported more than 200 million parts out of this facility where we are sitting right now, right? So that continues, and that's growing at double-digit percentage year on year. In fact, we also export transmission to Germany. The medium duty transmission. That's been happening. We have now exported more than 30,000 units, right?
That's for which class of?
That goes for medium duty trucks.
Medium duty
So,
trucks.
like we have a medium duty, we have similar trucks in Europe, which is called Etego. So it goes there.
Are you looking at your vendors still print to part, or they can make their own design and then provide solutions to you?
Well, it actually depends on which part we are talking about. So there are a lot of parts which are as built as print, and we do the design. But there are a lot of other technology related parts where the suppliers have their own design. What we do is we then look at different concepts from different suppliers and what value do they deliver out of their concept, and then accordingly make it.
Okay, my final question is on your own outlook. You said during the last 10 years, DICV has seen 2 cycles, and the third one was COVID across. So the curve has to rise. So how are you going to steer DICV during the next 10 years, and what are the strategies?
Sure. Well, first of all, I believe that the next 10 years we will definitely see CV market realizing the potential of Indian market, right? So we are headed for a strong growth cycle, right, in the short to mid term, and we are doing everything to get the best out of that cycle. So we are ramping up our supply chain, we are ramping our operations, we are looking at going to a 2-shift operation for both our assembly lines. And therefore hiring people as and when needed. So that's one piece which we are doing. The second thing which we are doing is we are looking at our product portfolio. We'll continue to expand the portfolio in order to meet this growth. The third is, we had promised to our customers less than 100 kilometer they will have a BharatBenz outlet. And in spite of COVID, we've continued to grow our network. In 2018 end, we were at 182 touch points. Today we are at 275. And our plan is by end of this year, we'll go to 300 and in the range of 330 to 350 next year. So we are absolutely on that plan. And this will also help us to grow in the market. Right? So these are the 3 things. There's another aspect which we are focusing on heavily, apart from, bringing different technologies in propulsion. The sustainability piece. The plant which we are sitting right now, today about 75% of energy which we use is renewable, right? So we have our own solar plant, and we also buy solar power and wind power from outside. And our clear target is to take this to 100% in 3 years time. By 2025 we'll be 100% carbon neutral in this operation. And I think that's a great thing to do, looking at what the planet or we all need.
Yeah, one more, sorry. When you talked about sustainability, this came to my mind. Daimler Global heavily looking at the reduce, recycle and reuse, the remanufacturing, etc., where they have a reverse logistics.
We definitely see that opportunity. In fact, we are working on it right now. And we have started to work on it right now because we believe this is the right time to do so. So we have a sizable population of vehicles in the market now, right? And customers who have used it for a substantial period of time, and maybe now they have sold it to the second or the third customer. And those are the customers who look for remanufactured aggregates and parts. So we are currently studying that opportunity, and as and when that feasibility is complete, we will also announce our entry there.
Thank you, Mr. Arya. Thank you so much for talking to Mobility Outlook. Thanks.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, same way. Thanks.